NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg sounded the alarm Thursday over the buildup of the Russian military forces from the Baltic Sea to the Mediterranean, and he called on the U.S.-led alliance to come up with a response. Jens Stoltenberg said the Russians have concentrated military forces in Kaliningrad, the Black Sea, and the eastern Mediterranean, where they are assisting beleaguered Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Speaking at a news conference during the NATO war games, Stoltenberg experts believe the buildup of Russian military might and could lead to Moscow's ability to limit the access of the United States and its allies in certain regions. Quote, "We have to be sure that we are able to overcome these capabilities so we can reinforce, so we can move, and so we can deploy forces if needed," Stoltenberg said. The NATO chief said the challenge of Russia's new capabilities in the field of what defense specialists call anti-access area denial has become the question on our agenda. Earlier in the day, NATO put its naval and special forces capabilities on display at the naval base in South Lisbon and also showcased the ability of the armed forces from 28 member nations in a coordinated effort. And now basically what they've said here is for the past 3 weeks, we've been covering it here, more than 36,000 personnel from NATO ally and partner nations have been taking part in exercises across all of Europe, stretching from Portugal to Italy. And the war games, they're calling the war games Trident Juncture. They're being held to hone NATO's ability to respond to a range of new security threats, including what Stoltenberg refers to as a more assertive Russia and Muslim terror groups active in the Middle East and North Africa. So there you have it. Jens Stoltenberg is very, very concerned over the increased Russian presence in the Middle East, in Crimea, and he basically stating that Vladimir Putin is amassing his forces to block NATO and NATO member nations, including the United States, access to key areas of those regions. So this is another example of the escalation that is building up right now in the Middle East and in Europe. It's a troubling development. I hate using the word troubling. It seems like it's so cliche at this point, but it really is, and we need to continue to focus our energy and our eyeballs on that region, especially when we're taking a look at the rhetoric that's coming out of NATO. We've been reporting here that NATO is going to be expanding the nuclear arsenal in Germany, and even considering stationing permanent troops on the border with Russia there in Estonia and Latvia, just to counter the Russian troops there as well. So we're seeing a troop buildup on both sides of the borders. We're seeing inflammatory rhetoric from both sides, and this is very, very concerning. So what are your thoughts about these latest developments and the latest rhetoric coming out of NATO? Leave your comments below. And remember, we rely on you to share the work of the Next News Network. So every single share is your endorsement of this program. So give us a share, give us a thumbs up, and we will see you at the next video. My name is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network.